we are always concerned about the potential presence on U.S. soil of terrorists coming from overseas. That's something we're always worried about. One of the things that the president asked for in this supplemental was additional funding for border security, for like 1,500 more Border Patrol agents and better technology.
They say they're quite concerned about potential terrorists being in the U.S. Right now. Sure doesn't feel like that. Admiral John Kirby of the Biden administration's National Security Council claims they're doing everything to prevent potential terrorists from entering the U.S. illegally across our southern border. But is that claim fact or fiction? Joining me now is Texas State Representative and former Chief of Staff at HHS under former President Trump, Brian Harrison. Also joining me is the former Director of Special Operations at the DEA, Derek Maltz. Thank you so much for joining me. Brian, I'll start with you. Senator Ron Johnson revealing what many of us already knew. Close to 6 million gotaways have walked across our border since President Biden has taken office. Those are the individuals that have crossed our border and escaped capture or detection by other means. You have the Secretary Mayorkas continuing to insist that our border is secure. How is it possible that they could call 6 million people of whom we do not know their name or their mindset entering this country secure?
Well, they also lie when they say that their border policies are working, unless, of course, what they mean by that is that they want open borders. People can't forget this. Joe Biden, among the many lies he told during the campaign, that he was going to be a uniter, not a divider, that he would follow the science on COVID, those were lies. But by God, he campaigned on open borders, and he's giving us open borders. We here in Texas are paying the price. America is paying the price. And here's the real question, especially with the eyes of the world focused on terrorism and the war in Israel. Here's the question that America needs to grapple with. How many terrorists have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's open border policies imported to America? We had 300,000 illegal crossings last month. We've had over 160 people on the terror watch list illegally cross our border. We've had tens of thousands of what they call special interest aliens. These are people coming, illegal aliens coming from known terror hotbeds, Iraq, Iran, Jordan, Yemen, Syria. How many of them are here as a result of Joe Biden's policies? What are they doing? And here's what we know. Even Christopher Wray, the leader of the completely lawless Biden FBI, what he said to Congress just last week, he said he cannot discount the possibility that Hamas may exploit the current conflict to conduct attacks here on our soil. And that's why I'm here leading the charge in the state of Texas in the face of unprecedented dereliction of duty from Joe Biden to secure that border. The state of Texas is having to do more. We need to do more to do what Joe Biden won't. Save Texas, save America from the Biden border crisis.
Yeah, Derek, there's that old saying, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. The numbers seem to speak for themselves. We've had close to 160 people on the terrorist watch list that we know of that have been apprehended. 6 million people have crossed our border, of which we cannot identify. Statistically speaking, it is more likely than not that there are more people, additional individuals, that we know are a threat to this nation's national security that are already in this country. How is that not something that everyone is screaming from the mountaintops? How is that not something that this administration is not dealing with the seriousness that it deserves?
Joe, thank you very much. And I work with the Border 911 team. It's the former Homeland Security officials that under Donald Trump that secured the border. You know, Mark Morgan, Rodney Scott, Tom Homan's the CEO. When Donald Trump was the president, there were 11 folks on the terror watch list that were apprehended on the southern border. We already have, like you said, 169 at the southern border alone. But here's another thing, Joe. You spoke about the Chinese influence on your prior segment. Well, is anybody talking about the fact that we have over 24,000 Chinese nationals that were apprehended already this past year? And Christopher Wray, the FBI director, talks about how China is the greatest long-term threat to the national security of our country. So how is that not concerning? If you look at how the numbers have gone up just from a couple of years ago to now with the Chinese nationals, and we know, Joe, that the Chinese are actually providing the money laundering services to the Mexican cartels in America. We know the Chinese are providing all the poisonous chemicals, and we know the kids are dying at record levels. One big factor people don't realize, the DEA this year has already seized 68 million fake pills. CBP seized 27,000 pounds at the border, and 45 million pills. But here's the problem, Joe. We only seize about 10%.
Right.
So think about how many pills and how much fentanyl's here, because it's being produced thanks to the Chinese Communist Party, and now the Mexican cartels are operating with impunity. Total disaster.
Well, Brian, you know, we talk often about the prospects for wars abroad, the prospects for us having to go to war in Gaza, the prospects for us having to go to war in Ukraine, the prospects for us having to go to war in the South China Sea. We seem to ignore the fact that we are already at war right here at home when you factor in the fact that we have fentanyl being flooded into this nation because of the drugs and the actions of the Chinese cartels and the Mexican cartels. From your perspective, about 30 seconds here, how do we get people to take this scourge seriously? Because it's not going to end, and they're going to continue to effectively wage war on the U.S. homeland if we don't have leadership that pushes back and deals with this with the intent that it deserves.
Well, it's got to be taken more seriously. And to put this in perspective for you, 9/11 cost about 3,000 American lives. Just last year, we lost over 100,000 American lives to drug overdoses. And this is being fueled by the fentanyl crisis, which is being fueled itself by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's open border policies. That's why I'm trying to have the state of Texas stand up and do more. When I was the chief of staff at HHS, we put Title 42 in place. I think the state of Texas can do its own Title 42 version and illegally deport all of these aliens, including the known and suspected terrorists that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's open border policies are allowing into this country. When we were running Title 42 under President Trump, we were deporting 90% of illegal alien crossers within 2 hours. Joe Biden inherited a secure border, and he has created the Biden border crisis, the national security, public health, economic crisis on our border. He did it on purpose. Texas is paying the price, but it's not just a problem here. This is a problem and a national security threat for every American, regardless of which of the 50 states that you live in. And that's why I'm leading the charge in Texas for us to do more to save Texas and America from this crisis.
Absolutely. Every town's a border town. It was 19 madmen that took down those Twin Towers on 9/11. You heard the number, over 160, close to 170 people on the terrorist watch list, already apprehended. 6 million
that we know
people
about
who've come to this nation and gotten away, and we have no idea who they are or where they have gone. Brian Harrison, Derek Maltz, thank you so much. God bless. We'll talk soon.
God bless you.